What if your money's fate was decided centuries ago? Imagine a world where the flow of every dollar, euro, and yen isn't random, but the result of secret meetings, whispered deals, and dynasties whose names rarely make the news. From shadowy boardrooms in London to candlelit palaces in Florence, a handful of families have shaped the rules of global finance, sometimes in plain sight, more often behind closed doors. Picture the Medici counting houses of Renaissance Italy, gold coins stacked high as bankers and princes plot their next move. Fast forward to the Rothschilds' network of couriers, relaying secrets across Europe faster than any king's army. In smoky backrooms, the Morgans, Warburgs, and Rockefellers draw up plans that will ripple through generations. These aren't just stories of old money. They were the blueprints for the world we live in. Every financial crisis, every boom and bust, every new technology is a test of the system these families engineered. Their alliances, rivalries, and innovations still echo in today's headlines. Coming up, we're exploring the families who wrote the rules of global finance. Who are they, and how did they engineer the system we live in? Let's step into 15th century Florence. The Medici family's counting house is alive with the clink of coins, the scratch of quills, and the low murmur of deals being struck. Outside, the city bustles with merchants and artists, but inside, the Medici are inventing something revolutionary, the modern bank. They create double-entry bookkeeping, issue letters of credit, and quietly become the power behind the throne, financing popes, kings, and wars. Now, fast forward to 18th century Europe. The Rothschilds, a family from Frankfurt, build a financial network that will span the entire continent. Picture secret couriers racing across borders, carrying coded messages and gold. By the 1800s, the Rothschilds are the bankers of empires. When Napoleon threatens Europe, both sides turn to the family for loans. After the Battle of Waterloo, Nathan Rothschild's London office is the first to know the outcome, thanks to his private intelligence network. With these families, fractional reserve banking is born. Banks start lending out more money than they actually hold, multiplying both money and risk. Centralization follows, as the Rothschilds and Medicis help shape the first international financial systems. Their influence becomes so immense that kings and emperors seek their approval before launching wars or signing treaties. How did a Florentine family invent the bank as we know it? Why did kings and emperors turn to the Rothschilds in every crisis? The age of empires was just the beginning. These families adapted to every new era. Next, we move into the 19th and early 20th centuries, a world in flux, where fortunes are made and lost on the outcome of wars and the rise of empires. Picture smoky boardrooms in New York and London. The Warburgs, Morgans, and Rockefellers gather around polished tables, their eyes on maps and ledgers, their hands on the levers of global finance. During the Napoleonic Wars, while armies clash on muddy fields, the Rothschilds are moving gold across borders, funding both sides and ensuring their own survival no matter who wins. Their network of couriers and coded letters becomes the backbone of international finance. Then, the age of railroads and industry arrives. J.P. Morgan orchestrates the merger of steel giants, bails out the U.S. Treasury in 1895, and becomes the unofficial central banker of America. The Warburgs helped design the Federal Reserve in 1913, centralizing American money for the very first time. During World War I and II, banking families finance governments, underwrite war bonds, and profit from the chaos. The Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, held in a secluded New Hampshire hotel, sets the rules for the post-war world. The dollar becomes the new global reserve currency, but the fingerprints of old banking dynasties are everywhere. Who really funded the wars that shaped the world? How did a handful of families decide the fate of nations? The 20th century brought new threats, revolutions, regulations, and the rise of the state. But these families were always one step ahead. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover how these powerful dynasties navigated the modern world and what their legacy means for you today. The world changes, but the dynasties endure. Imagine Zurich in the 1930s. Europe is teetering on the brink of another war. Behind steel vault doors, Swiss bankers in tailored suits are rewriting the rules of money. This isn't just about protecting wealth, it's about survival. The great banking families, names you know and names you don't, begin to adapt. They move assets offshore, creating a labyrinth of shell companies, and master the art of financial discretion. The era of secrecy has begun. Fast forward to the 1950s. The world is rebuilding, and a new financial instrument emerges: the eurodollar. These are US dollars held in banks outside America, far beyond the reach of regulators. It's a shadow market, a perfect playground for old money. Suddenly, new havens appear on the map: Caribbean islands, Luxembourg, Singapore. While the world looks at Wall Street and London, families like the Warburgs and Rothschilds are quietly channeling their wealth into these shadowy corners, funding a new globalized economy from behind the curtain. At the same time, the Rockefellers are building an empire not just on oil, but on the global banking networks needed to trade it. Then everything changes again. The digital revolution arrives. Forget paper ledgers and secret handshakes. By the 2000s, private jets are landing at Davos, where the heirs of old family fortunes mingle with a new kind of royalty, the tech billionaires. The tools have changed, but the game is the same. Encrypted servers replace physical vaults. Family offices, the private wealth management firms of the ultra-rich, start pouring billions into fintech startups, blockchain projects, and the first digital currencies. The very dynasties that once financed kings and wars are now backing the digital platforms that move trillions of dollars in milliseconds. This raises some crucial questions. How did these old money families, born in an age of sail and steam, survive the age of revolutions, world wars, and digital disruption? Why do we find the same names, or their influence, behind the architecture of today's digital finance? It seems like the age of family banking should be over, a relic of a bygone era, but is it? Or have they just gotten better at hiding, operating from the shadows, harder to see than ever before? History's dynasties never truly vanish. They adapt, they morph, and sometimes they hide in plain sight. Let's create a picture, side by side. On one side, you have the old world, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Warburgs. These are families whose names are literally etched into the foundations of central banks, multinational corporations, and global finance. Their empires were built on tangible assets: gold, oil, land, and government bonds. They controlled the physical flow of capital. On the other side, you have the new titans, the tech billionaires, the quantitative hedge fund managers, and the architects of the digital platforms that define our modern world. Their empires are built on the intangible: data, algorithms, and code. They don't control gold mines, they control the flow of information. But if you look closely, the playbook is eerily familiar. Both old and new power understood the cardinal rule: control the flow of money, influence the rules of the game, and always stay one step ahead of the next revolution. So, are these tech titans the new banking dynasties? Are the founders of massive social media platforms and e-commerce giants the new Rockefellers? Or is something else happening? Could it be that the old families are simply working behind the scenes, using their centuries of accumulated capital and knowledge to invest in every new wave? Are they quietly funding the very technologies that seem to be disrupting their world, shaping the future from the shadows, ensuring their place no matter who is on top? What did those old families know that today's billionaires are just now learning? They understood that power isn't just about building something new, it's about endurance. It's about surviving crashes, navigating political turmoil, and passing influence from one generation to the next. A skill that takes centuries to perfect. So, as we look at the financial landscape, the real question isn't just about who has the most money today. It's about who really controls the future of money. Is it the visible faces on the covers of magazines, or the invisible hands that have guided finance for generations? The story of banking dynasties is both a warning and a powerful lesson. Every era brings new technology, new crises, and new faces that promise to change the world. We see it today with digital currencies and decentralized finance, or DeFi, which aim to upend the entire old order of banking. They promise a future without intermediaries, without the old gatekeepers. But look who's investing: the family offices and private wealth funds, the modern-day vehicles of dynastic fortunes. are quietly pouring capital into the most promising DeFi projects and crypto startups. A new generation of heirs is growing up, and they are just as comfortable in a server farm as their ancestors were in a Wall Street boardroom. They understand the technology, and more importantly, they understand how to use it to preserve and grow their power. This brings us to the ultimate question. Will the cycle ever end? Will the next great financial dynasty be born in a corporate boardroom, forged from mergers and acquisitions? Or will it be born in a server farm, coded into existence by a handful of anonymous developers? Will decentralized technology finally break the cycle of concentrated power? Or will the same patterns simply repeat themselves under new names and with new technologies? The answers, as always, are hidden in the past, if you know where to look. The strategies used by the thuggers to dominate European finance 500 years ago are not so different from the strategies used by private equity firms today. The secrecy perfected by Swiss bankers in the 1930s laid the groundwork for today's offshore financial world. The cycle of power, secrecy, and reinvention never truly ends. It just changes its costume. Thanks for watching. If you want to uncover more of the hidden history of finance and learn how to spot the next dynasty before it rises, make sure to subscribe. Next time, we'll explore the story of a great financial family that almost lost it all, and the desperate measures they took to claw their way back from the brink. You won't want to miss it.